The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network. We have breaking news. Manscaped now sells beard products. That's right. They are once again revolutionizing men's grooming with the brand new Beard Hedger Pro Kit. From a beard trim to a fresh shave, the technology behind the Beard Hedger Pro Kit allows you to shape your signature beard look. Now you can finally use Manscaped products to make your drapes match your carpet by going to manscaped.com and using the promo code BELLYUPFANTASY for 20% off and free shipping. It's time to tame your mane. No one likes a weird beard, so say goodbye to all your stubble and trouble with Manscaped Pro Beard Kit. It all starts with the Beard Hedger. This thing is a juggernaut of fixing faces. First off, this cordless trimmer has a rotary wheel that gives you 20 hair cutting lengths, all with one guard, so no more messy drawers full of extra add-ons. That's right, face grooming doesn't need to be hard. Get 20 different beard lengths in just one guard. Plus, it's waterproof, so you can shave in the shower to avoid all that hair in the sink. The titanium-coated T-blade is tough on hair but smooth on your face, leading to single-stroke efficiency that brings satisfaction one stroke at a time. So make sure you get 20% off and free shipping when you go to manscaped.com by using the promo code BELLYUPFANTASY. Once again, that's 20% off and free shipping when you use the promo code BELLYUPFANTASY at manscaped.com.
Welcome back, fight fans. We are back. Another episode of Combat Deviants. I'm your host, as always, Steven Rochelle.
Shaving my bush, bro.
Supposed to be to the right of me is Mr. Evil Eddie.
I had to shave my bush,
we got
bro.
one episode lined up for you tonight. We're going to be joined by UFC Middleweight Tresean Gore. We're going to be joined in the second hour by
the champ,
BKFC Strawweight champion, Miss Brittian
Beltrain.
And we are also going to be joined by BYB Extreme 16 competitor,
Sonya, Gallegos-Drelling.
Should be a fun one. Obviously, we're getting both the BKFC big promotions involved in tonight's guest lineup. We also get UFC Middleweight Tresean Gore. Also,
amazing story. Absolutely amazing story, man. Tonight's show is going to be so epic. So, guys, make sure you go down here and you press subscribe and follow us at Combat Deviants on Twitter and Facebook, man. I can't wait to get into all the topics of tonight's show, Steve. UFC 285, man. What a time to start a new era, right? But yeah, you have the GOAT. And you know what I saw all week, Steve? Who is this guy? Who's this John Jones saying he's the GOAT? Bro, even DC went, what'd he tap to? Nobody could believe it, Steve. What was your reaction to the first round submission? And then we'll get into that co-main event that shocked the world.
My first thoughts, Drake made out again.
Yeah.
I thought he was in trouble going with the bet via submission. I was like, you know what, John could stop him, or we could go to a decision. I don't know if submission. You know what, man?
Well, here's the thing, too. He had a broken hand.
About it. It's just we forget how good John Jones' submission game is because it's been so long. But dude, like,
ask Lyoto.
He choked out Lyoto Machida standing with basically an inverted guillotine. We forget about that.
Yo, on top of all of it, it felt like something special. It was one of those moments like Conor McGregor. Remember Conor?
Moment, but we can't. At the same time, it's like y'all stole something from us.
What's
Dana,
that? What did they steal
from us? John, you stole something from us. Francis Ngannou, you stole from us. Y'all stole something special from us.
Bro, Disney not pulling through with those fairy tales anymore because they don't want to pay Francis Ngannou. Pay that man, right? That's the fight, the storyline and the narrative.
Man, it's a collective thing. like it's the same thing as like when we wanted Fedor versus Randy, Fedor versus Brock. Never could happen. Never could. We could never. All right, then after that, what was it? It was George St. Pierre and Anderson Silva. How long did it take that? Oh wait, no, we didn't get that. We got Bisping.
Yeah, Michael, have you been
Bisping and George St. Pierre?
Yeah, we had Paranoid UFO GSP versus Drunk Bisping, Champ Bisping, Triple X Bisping. Man, let me tell you this. It makes no sense, right? You have all this money, $4 billion. This was going to be the biggest fight. And now, after this, there's more of a reason. And you know what I've seen on Twitter, Steve? PFL hinting towards Francis Ngannou. We've heard rumors of BKFC, but can they really afford it? Do we really want to see him do that? He would have more in boxing.
You'll see him boxing before you see him do an MMA fight next.
But now you have him on the bench.
That's I guess my bold quote unquote prediction for what Francis done next. But I don't want to get away from John's performance last Saturday. Absolutely,
bro, he pissed on him, bro. That's what he did. He walked forward, said,
okay. Did you see the look on Gage's face when John's walking away? Like, damn.
Yeah, that was iconic.
Like, he just looked lost.
Absolutely in disbelief the way he walked through him. Even in the beginning of the fight, John looked nice with those leg kicks, man. The whole party I was with was saying John Jones was going to lose. Bro, I've been saying that since I was 16. I've been saying John Jones is going to lose since I was 16 as he beat all of our legends. Now you have a guy with a broken hand.
I didn't think he was going to win those fights, but it was like when he was initially coming up along it. But after he obliterates Shogun Who, after obliterates Lyoto Machida,
Rampage.
Lyoto Machida was like walking on water at that time. That was like prime Lyoto right there. It wasn't like he beaten up an older, like he got prime Lyoto and puts him away.
You know what? Joe Rogan said it was the Lyoto era.
Dislocates his toe and somehow still manages to submit Chael Sonnen before the doctor can stop the fight.
Did you see when John Jones was walking into the octagon, how they cut the toe bandage, but then he gets in there and I swear on you, there was another bandage on the opposite foot that they didn't cut. You saw it was just so weird.
Gotta make you wonder what he's done to his feet to just make him be like he's only gotta have his feet taped up.
Yeah, it was his big toe and the toe next to it taped up, and they cut it for some reason. And then they left the other one uncut. And Joe Rogan was flipping out because when you're walking out, you have all this, energy. You're thinking about the fight, and then you get disrupted like that. It reminds me of, Anderson Silva Bisping when Anderson won. You have an adrenaline dumping away. You're waiting, and then the doctors come over, they cut it. But John, he's a vet, man, and he's been conditioned for these 5-round fights. So going into this, Steve, who did you actually pick to win this, and how?
I mean, I had John doing his thing. Without a doubt, I had John doing his thing. But here's the thing: like you still had your questions of what if it's been a long layoff. I was joking around. It's been like 10 years since we've seen John, man. You know what I mean? It's been a long time. Like he's put a lot of things to put things in the right path. I guess with winning back, the general public, but.
You can say that, bro. You can say that, but this is what I come back with. Did y'all forget the Gustafsson rematch? Did y'all forget the DC rematch? Did y'all forget this man is the cocaine goat?
The cocaine goat.
The movie of cocaine.
All I gotta say is you can officially call him the goat. If he put together a few more of these impressive type wins.
That's the question.
If he blows through, he submits Stipe like he just submitted Cyril Gage. Yeah, we could start having those conversations.
Cyril Gage and Cyril Gone. What's this guy's name? John was calling him cereal all week, bro. Cereal gone. It's like, yo, leave this man alone. Man, let me pull this up for you. This is the pound for pound rankings 10 years ago. 10 years ago.
Pull the one all the way to the right. I have the problem. You can pull that up right up now. The one all the way to the right. Where it says Khabib's number one. Yeah, there we got a problem right there.
Where do you see this one? Oh, all the way UFC men's pound for pound rankings. Yeah, there's a lot of people out there saying, one trick pony. They gave Ronda a hard time. But Steve, my point is, 10 years ago, this man was number 2 on the pound for pound list. Now, in 2023, he almost went up to number 1. We have Volkanovski and Islam Makhachev at 1 and 2. And then number 3 is John Jones. Do you think he does deserve?
John Jones is technically undefeated in combat sports.
Don't tell Matt Hamill that, or don't write that to Matt Hamill.
I'll write it to Matt. I'll send him I'll send an interpreter, the whole 9.
I got to stop.
I love Matt. He's actually doing a
great guy.
A book thing that he's doing in upstate PA. I think if it's not this weekend, it's next.
Yeah, man.
I love Matt Hamill.
He's calling for the John Jones rematch, and it's
come on, man. He's a PA dude. I'm a homer for PA guys. Let's stop.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. But man, that was amazing, right? Totally worth the money. The story now. Last thing on this topic. Stipe Miocic next at the end of his career. Do you want to see that fight? Because for me, I'm not that pumped about it.
Breaking news. Got an unfortunate announcement, guys.
Oh, we clicked at the same time. You click show and I click show, yo. So it didn't show. All right. So for the audio listeners, from Hannah Obadi. Hey, guys. Brittian isn't able to join the interview tonight, unfortunately. She wanted me to tell you guys now. Sorry, guys. I don't think you're seeing this, but Brittian is unable to join the interview tonight. Just want to make sure y'all know. And Steve, I kind of expect this coming into the interview.
The other change we had to do that we didn't talk about, but was
So hold on. Let me say this. I kind of expected this. If I was on FanDuel, I would have put this bet down in a second. I would have put 100 on this bet because you pointed out to me this week that her last name changed on social media.
Midweek.
Brittian Hart Beltran.
Midweek.
Brittian Hart. So with that being
the funny part is, listen, the last time I interviewed Brittian, she was Brittian Hart. So I'm sitting there having a conversation with my girl about it. She's like, "What are you talking about?"
However, Steve, I spent 6 hours on the thumbnail changing everyone's name except the hardest name on the damn thing. But yeah, I totally get why she can't show up tonight. Shout out to the champ. It's just kind of crazy, man, because I had so many amazing questions for her, and I really hope that we can get her on next week.
Hannah hopping on and letting us know.
But bro, look at what a legend Brittian is. I don't mean to hop off subject, but this is one of my favorite moments when Paige Van Zant tries to choke her, and she goes, "Yo, learn the rules before you step in the air. This is my cage." And man, this girl, you guys got to prepare for it because the story is about to get really interesting. She has an upcoming fight at BKFC 39, right? And you better put respect on that name because Reggie, 2 homegrown fighters, Steve, fighting for the championship in VA. Let's go. She's got a lot on her mind right now. I completely understand. But girl, you got to come on the Deviant podcast.
Hey, well, we'll get it rescheduled. Ain't no big deal. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what I would do? My last couple of breaks up, bro. I go crazy, man. I go crazy. A broken heart is not fun. So, Brittian Hart. Where are you, Steve? Where are you, Steve? Halfway through the week, changed her name. So this says, Steve, I'm waiting for you to help me out here. This says that they broke up, right?
Well, I mean, I would think that'd be obvious that it
Britton
would.
and Joey. What did you see online? Because I thought it was actually very disrespectful.
Well, no, like I
of some
said,
of the people.
I didn't. Someone had shared the initial like I guess marriage
Breakup?
engagement post, however you want to have that, with her and Joey. It was shared in the group, and I just didn't understand why. And then, like
They
I said,
start ragging.
when I go in, was gonna go send Britton the link to the show is when I noticed that her name changed. So I mean, obviously she's going through some things. I'm not sitting there even saying that's why she's not on the interview tonight. We don't know exactly.
What did you do to her, bro? You
appreciate.
She wanted $100.
What's that?
You wanted $100, and you said
no. Leave that alone, dude.
Yeah,
Let that die.
Totally disrespectful when somebody's going through a breakup for them to comment and that person is getting tagged in there. Got to be extra hurtful around people, you know.
People are douchebags on social media. You know how that is.
But could this be a Tom Cruise fix relationship? That's the question. Could this be like you two date for a little bit, you cause some drama, some TMZ shit, and now we got more eyes on? I don't know, but we hope to see the champ back in here because
it's all your fault, Eddie. You're in Britton's DMs.
Yeah,
got mad. Now they broke up. It's all your fault. It's all your fault, Eddie.
I sent her photos of my rats and shit, just like, oh, rat will make.
Joey mistaking the white one for your little ding-a-ling, and next thing you know, Miss Beltrain became Miss Hart. See, we got the culprit right here.
Manscaped turned in. My Manscaped turned into Man Take. Took my dick with it. But let's talk about Valentina Shevchenko here, man. She looked a little in that very first round to me. She didn't look like herself, and it reminded me a lot of the Amanda Nunes going in against Juliana Pena.
Listen, you can't be that great for that long. I mean, the only exception to the rule at the moment is John Jones, right? Let's be real about it. That's why everyone's been sitting there saying John's going to lose. It's because it's been the MO of just about every other UFC. Like, something always happens. You know, you run into a perfect style fight, you want a rematch, and then whatever, and you go on to the next fight. You might want to win in 2 or 3 more until the next one comes in with another style that's going to, like, there's just always something happens. And I'm not going to go there and sit there and say Valentina didn't look like herself. She got lazy, threw a back spinning kick.
Yes.
We've all seen the video that Alexa was training for it, that as soon as she threw that back spinning kick, when she does her lazy return to reset, she would attack and jump on her back. She did. She capitalized on it. She got it down, took it to her world, and finished with the submission. So with that being said, no, I'm not going to sit there and say Valentina didn't look like herself. I'm going to say Alexa Grasso performed an absolutely perfect game plan. Me and you, I think we're talking about it off air, reminded us of the
Demetrius Johnson
one when he was training for the fine armbar.
Bro,
so, like, listen, a lot of times, like these athletes, they go over things that they want to work on, and more often than not, they're able to hit it. We're able to get lucky sometimes where we're able to get footage of them working on such things. And not only that, to hit that on a stage like that in the first time you're fighting for a UFC title, that is so special. Hats off to
with a girl who's named
her team. It's an amazing journey for her to get here. So let me stop cutting Eddie off. Get in here, brother.
Well, I wanted to add, you did it against a girl who's nicknamed the Bullet, meaning she's super quick. That was a half-ass kick that she threw, and she jumped right on it.
Like she has this tendency to just being lazy when she does throw those kicks, right? Like she does it not on like it's not like she's doing it to inflict damage or whatever, but half the time she's trying to do it to kind of reset the range and distance on her end, and she's been lazy with returning.
She got
and
caught lacking, as
resetting.
the kids would say. She got caught
I
lacking.
think what it is because people have gotten so scarified of her kicks.
Scarified.
Look what she did to our girl Chess, yo. Come on,
Dude,
man.
she's scarified, bro. I
That's
love
what
that
people
word.
been. You
That's
can't
a
tell
new
me they
word.
ain't. Tell me that you talk about Val and her kicks. That girls weren't a little nervous. So yeah, they were scarified.
They're scarified. I love that. But here's the other thing on top of it. I was watching FanDuel, right? And the line changes, bro. I threw a couple dollars quick on the opponent, right? Your boy won $15 off 25 cents, dude. So when it really comes down to it, you get these vibes, right? And when in a round, somebody is not doing what they're normally doing and they're lacking, I was expecting her to catch her, right? Because in the round prior, she had Valentina. And going into the next one, I went, boom, throw that money on there. Were you as shocked, though, watching the fight happen that she won? Because she was winning over Valentina with the grappling situation. It was only a matter of time before that happened. And she was scrapping.
Alexa's been calling for this fight for some time. It's not like it's like some crazy coincidence.
Oh, wait, Steve, wait.
Go ahead.
You'll be perfect for this. Was that not a Chris Weidman back kick versus Luke Rockhold? UFC 189 or something, right? Remember, Chris Weidman was the champ, glorified Anderson Silva beater, then throws that spinning back kick, and then Herb Dean says, I want to watch this man bleed. And he got pounded out. That was Valentina and Chris Weidman championship fight mistake. That's the number one thing not to do. I was kind of shocked she threw that, but you're saying that she's done that before in the past.
Yeah, just like when she's trying to reset the range and kind of go back out, but she's just been getting lazy, I guess, because people, when they throw that kick, they don't want to be anywhere near it.
Ronda Rousey, Holly Holm, just right. She was downplaying her opponent in Alexa Grasso. I think a lot of people were.
Alexa. I don't.
I mean, look at the odds for that fight. It was so widespread that
you could easily say that because it's like, when's the last time anyone's challenged Valentina at 125 pounds?
And it actually was Juliana Pena. It actually was. And then Valentina won by submission after she was in a tough spot. But man, it looked like such a magical moment. The first woman from Mexico to become female champion in that weight division. That's a special moment. It was a special night, Steve. Outside of those two fights, man, the entire night, the prelims remind me of UFC 189. I have to rate that pay-per-view as a good 9. It was worth every single dollar. What are you rating it? What are you rating it here?
I mean, it was a good night, but like,
Steve, stop. You ain't gonna remember John Jones' name.
Oh man,
come on, bro. The return of John
top 10. Get out of here.
Of the year. We're talking about this year. At the end of the year, you are not gonna remember.
Yeah, it's the best one this year so far. Great.
Oh, what's gonna top it though? John Jones returning, putting his opponent out like that. Valentina losing like that. There was a lot of excitement. There was a lot of energy there. And I enjoyed it, man. Best card of the entire year. But you're not feeling it. Steve, you're a hard one, man.
Yeah, I'm a little hard on him. What the hell? You have the best promotion in the world. Why do I got to be giving them, hand jobs over here for no reason?
Giving them a hand job. You feel like you got screwed because it wasn't Francis in there, because that's who it should have been.
Well, no, like I said, like I told you from the gate, like unless Francis was returning and fighting the defending the title against someone, it should have been Stipe first and foremost. So then it's not Francis. So then it should have been Stipe for the title. Then they gave us Gage to make us wait. What? To make us wait another 2.5, 3 months to make the fight anyways. So they'll put them at International Fight Week in July. Mark my words now.
I agree. Totally. Yep.
I
International
mean,
Fight Week.
this is not have their MO written all over it, dude. Yes.
And Conor McGregor on the card, potentially. Jones McGregor card, bro?
Well, what they'll probably do is the Ultimate
Because
Fighter.
it's the Ultimate Fighter.
And either the night
bro.
before or the week before.
Bro. You called it, Steve. International Fight Week is always the Ultimate Fighter finale. Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler, John Jones, Steve. That's your fairy tale. That Disney falling through for Steve on that. We hope. Steve, did you see the video I sent you of the little baby? And like Iron Man shows up to the hospital to meet him, and he turns away, grabs his Iron Man doll, and gives Iron Man a hug. I said, "Yo, that's my co-host whenever anyone brings up a Marvel story." You saw that?
I remember I seen that. I was on our Facebook.
This topic right here, that you being upset with UFC 285, goes into my argument all week, Steve. I said, Mark, when I say this name, tell me what you think of. Mark Hunt. What's the first three things that come to mind?
Australian heavyweight.
Bigfoot, yeah.
That torched Bigfoot Silva.
That's the only, but like, so this week on Twitter.
Yeah, I know he's been vocal, but he's always been vocal since he left the UFC about anything they do.
Well, I'm not talking about him calling out Jones. Oh, I think I actually have that.
Because John's going back and forth with a bit, but that's also because John's going back and forth with it because Francis is also going back and forth with how they're having their stance and how they're looking at X, Y, and Z. So when you're doing that, it's rough to sit there and go about it that way. So yeah, we're gonna have basically John and Mark pointing fingers at one another right now.
Well, here, all right. So I have a huge argument here. This is Mark Hunt's argument. The UFC heavyweight champion of the world, ladies and gentlemen. There you have it. A cheating steroid rat goat. And I won't read any more of that. But people give Mark Hunt such a hard time because of his record, right? He's like 14-13 or something crazy. But what they don't remember or were there for or realize or could do anything to research, the guys that he lost against, not later in his career, early on in his career, were some really tough dudes that were juiced up on steroids. Would you agree with me on that? That was like one of the biggest things. So a guy responded trashing Mark Hunt, saying this guy was absolute trash. I said, man, you don't need to call him a legend, but he was a memorable fighter who stuck it out when the UFC signed them over and they wanted to get rid of him. He stayed, man, and he put on even the fights that he lost in. Anytime Mark Hunt would step in there, I got a little excited, Steve. Does Mark Hunt deserve recognition? Or is he just a bum like some of the newer fans are trying to put out there?
Man, you can't ever sit there and say Mark Hunt's a bum, man. What are you talking about, man?
Thank you.
Dude's tough. Like, come on.
On top of it all,
he arguably probably should have been, you know, if he was an in shape guy, like an in shape, in weight guy, he probably should have been like a middleweight.
And don't you guys come at me right now.
I
saying
mean,
you didn't have Mark Hunt beating Brock Lesnar.
What happened?
So, what was it? UFC 200. I said, yo, Brock Lesnar is going to win this fight. 99% of people said, nope, Mark Hunt. Like, and then they'll come back years later, 6 years later, go, Mark Hunt was trash. Bro, you go on two different buses here. So, don't even come at me saying y'all didn't pick Mark Hunt to beat Brock Lesnar, because you did. That's like everyone picking Luke Rockhold to beat Bisping. I didn't. Steve, I remember you calling me going, bro, good job not boasting that you were right. No, bro, 6 years later, I'm boasting hard. Oh, man, what a journey it's been, man, and mixed martial arts over the years, Steve. But this card doesn't do it for you, huh?
What happened?
UFC 285 doesn't do it for you,
I told you, it's not in my top 10. Like, why are you blowharding on this thing so bad, dude?
Kid, hold on. I got a little extra Vaseline on it. right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I had a great night.
Why are you blowing the UFC and Dana off so much? I don't know what's going on.
I was tripping hard on mushrooms, bro. I even put it on my Twitter.
You're overly loving of this.
Because I also won money on Grasso. And then I won money on John Jones via submission. So, but you bet I went home and manscaped, bro. All right, let's escape this right here. If you're just joining us, Brittian Hart is not going to be joining us on tonight's show. Tresean Gore.
Yeah, we got. It looks like he hasn't been on social in like well over 30 minutes. So
this episode could be called the Reggie Barnett episode, number 2.
Stop. Oh man, you're gonna go back to that one.
Yeah, man. PFL's going on right now. Thiago Santos, the 2023 PFL light heavyweight. What do you think about that? Wasn't he just fighting for BKFC?
Who was just fighting for BKFC?
Thiago Santos.
Who?
Thiago Santos. Yeah, he was fighting for BKFC. And now they're saying he's coming over to PFL. So tonight's fight for Bellator, Steve, kind of hurts me, right? Last fight I ever bought a ticket for was Benson Henderson, and I got it around here somewhere. Benson Henderson versus Korshkov, right? 2012, 13, when he gets signed over to Bellator. He's fighting again tonight against Nurmagomedov. It hurts to watch this guy get put in these positions knowing he doesn't have a good shot. Or am I wrong?
Well, you think every time Ben has gotten a title fight, it's been the odds have been stacked against him? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying he doesn't do as well as I wish he would do. He doesn't, and nothing against him. One of my favorite all-time fighters. Great guy. Man, I'll suck on his toothpick, bro. You know what I mean? Like, great guy, but I don't think he deserves these shots at the title because he's going to keep getting embarrassed. Now, if he proves me wrong tonight, I'll bow my hat, but it's just a tough position to watch Benson Henderson in for the championship at the end of his career that he spoke about, knowing the outcome. And I feel like Bellator does that on purpose. What are your thoughts on that? One of the first guys actually to sign over with Bellator outside Rampage was after him, wasn't he? Rampage was after Benson Henderson.
Yeah, Rampage was like what? Is that Bellator 108 or 3 or something like that?
Because he had issues with the UFC contracts, I remember.
Yeah, I mean, he thought that they were hammering him on his pay-per-view points.
What do you think about going into a commercial right now? Because I got something cool to discuss here.
Yeah, we could do that, my friend.
Friend. Bro, what was the word you're using before? I'm scarified. Scarified.
Yeah, they're scarified.
Scarified.
They're scarified.
All right, let's hit that commercial.
Catch you guys in a second for the next segment.
We have breaking news. Manscaped now sells beard products. That's right. They are once again revolutionizing men's grooming with the brand new Beard Hedger Pro Kit. From a beard trim to a fresh shave, the technology behind the Beard Hedger Pro Kit allows you to shape your signature beard look. Now you can finally use Manscaped products to make your drapes match your carpet by going to manscaped.com and using the promo code BELLYUPFANTASY for 20% off and free shipping. It's time to tame your mane. No one likes a weird beard, so say goodbye to all your stubble and trouble with Manscaped Pro Beard Kit. It all starts with the Beard Hedger. This thing is a juggernaut of fixing faces. First off, this cordless trimmer has a rotary wheel that gives you 20 hair cutting lengths, all with one guard, so no more messy drawers full of extra add-ons. That's right, face grooming doesn't need to be hard. Get 20 different beard lengths in just one guard. Plus, it's waterproof so you can shave in the shower to avoid all that hair in the sink. The titanium-coated T-blade is tough on hair but smooth on your face, leading to single-stroke efficiency that brings satisfaction one stroke at a time. So make sure you get 20% off and free shipping when you go to manscaped.com by using the promo code BellyUpFantasy. Once again, that's 20% off and free shipping when you use the promo code BellyUpFantasy at manscaped.com.
All right, folks, back from that quick little break. What do you got for me, Mr.
So Francis Ngannou today.
Huh?
All right, Francis Ngannou today. I just saw this pop on my phone.
All right,
Francis Ngannou, Steve, you are correct, focused on boxing, but wishes that he did face Jon Jones. The former UFC heavyweight champion, Francis Ngannou, is hoping to land a boxing match with any of the big names atop the heavyweight division. Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, or Deontay Wilder. However, this man wants to fight Jon Jones. This is an open door opportunity for the UFC to step forward and write this narrative the way Francis, the way Jon, and the way the UFC fans and MMA fans, combat sport fans around the world deserve. Is that not the fight to make in 2023? Francis, once again, bringing the UFC name into the picture. This is something you do not see with the UFC. They do not talk about Bellator. They do not talk about PFL. They don't talk about boxing. Francis Ngannou is giving them another chance. Will they reach out to him and give him the, what is it, $30 million? Or will Francis Ngannou just be a shadow of what could have been?
Really hard to sit there and say if Francis Ngannou going to be a shadow of what could have been. That's not.
Well, is it a mistake that he doesn't just accept the money that they're offering?
You shouldn't just accept whatever they're sitting there saying. This is what you're worth. The point of it, the whole thing, it wasn't just about money, and that's why it was never going to be heard. Why it was never going to happen. It was almost like an irrelevant conversation. It's like sitting there screaming and hollering at a deaf person for freaking, knocking your food over or something. You're just talking to yourself. There's no point. Those things weren't going to happen. That part of the discussion, I'm sure they could have met at some place on the money, but they weren't going to pay him what he's worth on a regular basis. His best bet is to do, one or two fights in boxing where he's getting $20-30 million a fight.
This is what's going to happen when he goes to boxing. He's going to go over and he's going to get embarrassed like everyone else that has gone over, Steve. Everyone that's gone over has been embarrassed. Now, is that what we want for our champion? Because all the UFC has to do is agree to pay somebody that they hyped up over the years as the hardest hitting man on the planet. You have gained that Jon Jones just walked through. The fight to make is Francis Ngannou. If they don't give him the money that they have, that's disgusting. That's absolutely disgusting. So I'm trying to look up how much he made.
Why are you so surprised? You're disgusting. It's disgusting. Why?
Because this is a moment where the UFC has the money. They have potential to bring more fans in with these heavyweight fights that they always wanted and they always got behind. Scariest knockout art. Go ask Overeem. Jon Jones versus Francis is the only MMA fight that people really want to see. Am I wrong?
I already told you it's basically the fight everyone was looking forward to at the end of last year going into this year. No one's looking forward to Conor McGregor versus anyone right now. Because
come on.
Stop.
Come on.
The only reason why they want to watch Conor fight anyone is because they want to watch somebody beat up Conor. That's why they're tuning in at this point.
I want to watch Conor win, man. I want to see him make a comeback. It's just he slipped.
Now let's be honest with yourself. You feel like Conor McGregor will ever regain his Mystic Mac form ever again?
I sent him some mushrooms, so we'll see. No,
Yes,
man. Here's the
fact that
thing.
you couldn't answer that immediately says yes.
A lot.
He
It
will
says a
not
lot.
get back that form. That being said, he is a glorified name on the poster at this point in time. He is not a contender. He's not a title fighter. He is a name. He's a star power.
Let me throw this at you.
He brings value to the UFC. He is not. He's not that dude anymore.
Let me throw this at you.
Go ahead.
Can we relate this to the Vinny Paz story, though?
The what?
Broken neck. Can we relate this to the Vinny Paz story, right? The broken neck, never be able to come back to fight. Do you not think that all of this is a wake-up call to Conor? He's got a metal leg now.
His thing isn't his body's been broken. That's not his problem. That has nothing to do with his body. It has nothing to do with him breaking his leg. Are you serious?
What are you blaming? What are you blaming it on? Just the momentum?
Up here, man. His
I
ego,
agree.
his
I'll
head.
agree with you. I totally agree with that. A lot of ego bursts after the Mayweather thing. I was there for it in Manhattan, and I saw Conor show up 3 hours late. I saw him walk out, see some ridiculous things, and in that movement, I knew Conor lost his shit. He was on another level. He thought he was the greatest thing on the planet. Then he loses to Mayweather. He comes back. He's got the win over Cowboy. That was impressive to me. He came back. He did pretty well against Sabine.
Cowboy Cerrone, who he should have wiped the mat with, correct? Correct.
He did it in a pretty fascinating way, too. But that's the other thing. When Conor comes back, it should be against opponents like they do in boxing. Me and you have discussed this plenty of times, like a warm-up fight. You're throwing him in there against Khabib. You're throwing him in there, first fight in boxing. But you're right. At the end of the day, Steve, you are right. Conor McGregor, something's missing up here that he lost touch with. And
I don't know what it is. Like, you just had
the manifestation
let's be super cliche right here. Let's be super cliche. He lost the eye of the tiger.
Yeah.
I don't know how he gets it back, but he lost that fire. That what makes you different from other fighters, other athletes. So, he don't have that anymore. He's just a mouthpiece.
So let me.
He's for all intents and purposes a wrestling persona at this point in time.
Let me throw this in there. I heard the same argument for John Jones. He lost the eye of the tiger. He needed something to really.
But he did. John did. He was winning off of just pure talent alone. He wasn't preparing for anything. There was nothing more interesting for him at 205 pounds. That's why I said it's interesting to see how long he goes at heavyweight, because there is no Francis Ngannou on the horizon. The hope is that you were going to build John up through a couple series of heavyweight contender fights, which would have been interesting to him because he's building towards that goal of Francis. Now, you take Francis off the board. Can you name me 5 heavyweights that you would like to see John fight in the next 5 years?
No,
that will test him.
No, they took all the crackers off my cheese board. I don't eat cheese alone. I need a cracker with it, and it's gone. That here's the other thing, though. John Jones should have said something inside the octagon outside of Stipe. Do you think that the UFC and Dana White asked him not to say anything about Francis? Because we remember in his last fight after he beat DC, he called out Brock Lesnar. I mean, he gets on the mic and he performs and he'll say whatever he wants. I'm not drinking Coors Light. I'm drinking Bud Light. Remember Brock Lesnar doing that? But yeah, John Jones usually.
I don't think that they did, because I mean, remember Anthony Johnson's leaving. His retirement and everyone wishing that fight happened between Rumble and John. That's another fight we didn't get.
Conspiracy theory too. Rumble's entire team walked out of the octagon while he was getting interviewed, while he was laying his gloves on the ground. And there's been no answers for that. It was just a very sad moment. We have no idea what was going on in that moment. Big conspiracy theory. lies there. But we almost did have the Rumble versus John Jones fight where they pranked Dana White. Remember that one?
Anthony Johnson fought at 170 pounds at the beginning of his UFC career.
You were there for that, weren't you? You were there for skinny Rumble Johnson, who couldn't make weight. The guy could not make weight for the life of him.
The fact that man used to make down to below 180 pounds is beyond me.
Let me also throw this in there. Everyone will go back to USADA. They'll say, all these guys, Tyron Woodley, Tim Kennedy, fucking Big Rig, Johnny Hendricks, all these guys were never the same after USADA. Anderson Silva, the list goes on, right? Shout out to John Jones even more for this time, and we'll see with the next couple of days. No picograms, no busts, no pregnant woman hit. This was a clean slate for John Jones. Did he win back the respect of the fans, though?
How do you win of beating your wife and being drunk, hitting somebody with your car and leaving the scene of an accident?
What did I do?
Don't do that in a cage in front of millions of people. You do that through what? Public service, right? Community service, giving back. That's how you win those people back. The fact that anyone tries to equate him having some type of redemption for his past sins over beating a man up in a cage is beyond me. It is, dude. What are we talking about?
What about the arguments of people saying all the stuff outside of the octagon have something to do with the fighter he is?
Like, the one thing I do want to mention that I want to get your thoughts on. What do you think about now? John believes he's vindicated, that he is no longer a cheating athlete, as people like to call him, because the USADA has adjusted the allowances, and apparently John was within the allowance, so he would like to his apology cards written ASAP. Do you agree with John's current assessment of that? And would you be okay with letting that aspect go, knowing that he hid under a cage for almost an entire day from USADA?
This is a.
You think he was clean against you? No, heavens no. Oh my God, you could tell. Oh my God. Oh, Errol, it's not. We know our wrong. Yes, really. I could tell. Very I had more juice than Tropicana, and he pushed me around like a Mack truck person. Did they not test? As soon as we locked up with each other, I thought, I know you. As he's pushing me backwards before he comes with his big spinning elbow, I remember thinking, I know your secret because I got the same one.
Heard that? Chael Sonnen going, I know your secret because I got the same one. You brought up Chael's story about how John Jones hid under the mat, right? Hid under the cage. Those stories aren't going to go away. I like those stories more than I like that John Jones beat Cyril Gain. You know, those stories aren't going to go away. Those are forever. However, we do get older. We do make changes in our lives. This guy won't even go to TGI Fridays.
Can you imagine that?
Because he's afraid of getting
like let's put things in perspective here real fast. Because as much as we need to be hard on John about what happened, we need to realize what put him in said situation. He was a 21-year-old kid on the top of the world in the most dangerous sport in the world, beating the snot out of everyone who everyone thought he was going to get the floor wiped with.
Every time. He's had a ceiling of expectation.
When you able to do the things that he was able to do, no one was going to put that man in check about anything.
Cheers to that.
So it gets to a point where you have to have life humble you at some point. And it was unfortunate that, you know, it did come at the cost of him getting out of control and putting his hands on his fiance, getting even more out of control with with drugs and substances, and to the point of driving under the influences, hitting a pregnant woman's car, fleeing the scene. All these things come to play in the factor, and he doesn't come from a broken home, guys.
I like how you brought that up.
All those things, like when you're done like I said, accomplish those things, those heights, it does something to you. Like where you just think you're on this cloud where nothing you could do is wrong, nothing you say is wrong.
I love it when you call me Big Papa. You're the king. You're the absolute king.
Yeah, he was the king of the UFC for the better part of 5 years. No, there was a time where there was no one more recognizable than him. So
we got our guest calling in right now. What do you think about our third commercial as we go into it? Or would you like to just bring her in?
Yeah, just let's bring Miss Drelling, and we don't need to add a third clip for that one tonight. Since,
all right, so
Tresean and Brittany unfortunately could not make it, so let's just kick things off with just Sonya Drelling. How are we this evening, my friend?
I'm doing good. How are you? Let me change you guys out.
I'm great. Just so for our audio listeners, we are now being joined by BKB Extreme
BYB Extreme.
Sonya Drelling. Sonya, how are we? Love the accent, by the way.
Thank you. I'm doing great. I'm excited. I'm ready for it. Couldn't come faster.
Sonya, so Steve says he likes the accent, but I've heard that we're the ones with the accent up here in the East, that we talk super fast. Do you hear that in our voices?
Growing up in Colorado, we did talk a lot faster than we did down south here. So being down south for about 4 years now, it is a lot slower. Everyone's a little more calm. So there's a little difference in it. I will say when I hear pages or on the radio and stuff, at first I used to have to ask people what they say, because I couldn't understand it. The Southern drawl was just so strong to me. And then I guess being down here, I've gotten so used to it.
Wait, all right. So you said listening to the radio. Are you an EMT? Are you a dispatcher?
No, I work for the Chinet Paper Plate Company, so we have a lot of pages, and then everyone calls you and stuff, and just even listening to the main radio itself, or being at the gym, things like that. It was just it threw me off at first. I had to ask people what'd they say. At one point, I thought one guy was paging a guy named Snickers. I was like, "Who's Snickers here?" And he's like, "No, he didn't say that. He said Scott."
Oh my God! It's like some Bart. You're like the Bart Simpson over there, just saying call for man. Over here in the city, it's crazy like that too. Because I do Uber Eats, or I'll do DoorDash, I'll do Instacart, and it's a melting pot here. I gotta, there's Spanish, there's Italian, there's everything here, and you get used to it after a while. But it's definitely a culture shock at first. But the biggest culture shock right here, right now, I think, is you, because when somebody looks you up, they would not expect you to be a fighter. So how did this happen? This is absolutely wild. You're such a badass.
Actually, it started when I was real young. I was 8 years old. I used to do ballet and things, and boxing is growing up in Greeley, Colorado, that is the sport to be in. That is if you're not fighting, then you're doing football. So growing up.
Can you confirm my mother's statement here? My mom, my entire life, has told me ballet teachers are harder than sports coaches. They want you to be tip top, straight, and they'll go in on you, even if you're 4 years old.
Ruthless, brutal about it. I did cheerleading too, junior cheerleading, and it wasn't me though. I love to fight. I was a very ornery little kid growing up. I was the youngest of, I've only got a younger brother. The rest of them were a lot older, teenagers. We got picked on a lot. So there was a lot of the having to defend yourself. But I was probably the worst out of everybody in the family. I loved to throw hands. It didn't matter if we were watching TV and a commercial came on. I was there to brawl in between the.
You said, "Yo, Powerpuff Girls are on. Give me that." And if they didn't, you'd smack them over the head with a TV dinner.
Well, it was pretty brutal. I grew up very ornery. It was the nature, I guess, growing up. So that's how I kind of got into it. Was real young, and then my first coach, Santos Casas, he was very hard on us. I learned a lot of discipline that way, a lot of respect. So that was something that came with being in boxing. Heck, Santos would drop us off in Eaton, Colorado, and make us run back to the gym in Greeley, Colorado.
Was he?
And
Jesus. I want to.
Yeah, we were kids.
Yeah.
Oh man, we were kids and we're running along these highways and cornfields. We had a few kids get lost in the cornfield. They took off to the cornfield, thought they were going to take a shortcut. Yeah, that didn't happen. So yeah, he would, if you stopped, he would take you all the way back to the beginning, and you got to rerun that whole thing.
Goodness.
Yeah, it was hot. I remember being super hot. We learned some really old school training that way and a lot of discipline, like I said. And I wouldn't trade it for the world, because the experience, you'll never find that anywhere else.
That is so amazing, because I'm sure the year was, probably around the early 2000s, right? You said you were younger. So there weren't probably many girls in your group. Am I right?
Surprisingly, growing up in a very Hispanic town, we actually had quite a few of them. They were scrappers.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And we actually just saw the very first Mexican champion this weekend, which we'll get into. But I just want to quickly touch on the story that you're talking about right now. When you were going through all of this, what kind of changes did you make afterwards in your day-to-day life? Because I've recently watched these vlogs, I guess you can call it, of these young kids fresh out of high school, and they're going to boot camp, right, to get ready for the army. And you see what they go through mentally and see how they change from day one to the last day. What was the biggest change you had?
I would say, there's a lot of the mental change that comes with it. Growing up, I grew up in a very rough environment. I would say, so because you're a fighter, you were always being challenged throughout school. It didn't matter if we were, fourth or fifth graders, or we were middle schoolers, and, or even high school. It was bad. Greeley, Colorado was notorious for, the biggest thing, the reason why we had the Rodarte Center was because of the gangs. We have a whole gang unit for police department, just because of how bad the gangs are. So that was something that they had, they strove, like, as far as our coaches and stuff, they strive to make sure that us kids had a place to go after school to keep us from getting into those gangs. But, as much as they put their time and the effort into, unfortunately, there was a lot of us that got involved into stuff like that. I personally did not, but I was challenged a lot in doing so. It didn't matter if you were wearing a blue shirt or a red shirt that day. You were going to get called out on it, and you were going to get told you were either a South Sider or a North Sider, and you were going to wind up in a conflict. I can't tell you how many fights I got into just growing up, middle school, high school. We'd, off campus, let's go hit it in the alley. There was. Oh, yeah. You'd have kids walk up, hey, you got a lighter I can put in my fist? I'm like, are you serious, you guys? Like, quarters. Oh, my gosh. There were so many times we watched fights, people put quarters in their fists, and then, of course, they bust open during the fight, and kids are scrambling for quarters while they're still fighting. And it's like, oh, man, I grew up rough. It was tough.
Yo, when you get hit with a thing of quarters, you know how hard that is, Steve? Like little kids throwing things.
I think I've never been hit with somebody had a roll of quarters in their hand. Not from Philly, dude.
Yeah, we're talking to somebody from Philly and somebody from New Haven. Yeah, so but it's crazy because
bricks, rocks, all kinds of stuff, man.
But you look at Sonya, and she's just like, "Yo, I got $10 in quarters, bro. Give me 12, I'll give you $10 in quarters." That's what's going on.
Oh yeah.
So this bred a different side of you. Does it really come out when you step out to fight? Because you're pretty much representing all those kids, all those gangs, and saying, listen, you don't got to live like that. We can get it done right here and make some money for it, right? We can get it done right here, and we could go home and have dinner. We don't have to get killed, bro. All these kids nowadays, they're holding sticks. They're singing songs like stick, stick, stick. Today I got a new stick. And it's like, yo, no. That's not how things should be. That's not how I was brought up. We would throw fists. Nowadays, it's guns, guns, guns over the smallest dilemmas. Is that something you're seeing in your neck of the woods too?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I think one of the saddest things that I've seen when I moved to Denver, Colorado for about 6 years. And then when I moved back to my hometown, one of the saddest things that I've seen was we were all running. We're at the Rodarte Center. I'm back in my, my old stomping grounds. And we've got kids ranging from, 8 years old all the way up to, their teens and older. And we're all running the Rodarte Center. And you see these guys, they're playing out in the street. Remind you, we're in the north side territory. This is north side. So you see these guys out
north
in the street.
Side, to be careful,
Yeah. Well, that's where the Rodarte Center sits. It's, it is north side territory. That's Island Grove. So, you know that. All these guys are out there just playing football. They're grilling. They're at their house because there's these houses that sit around it. And, I'm running around one corner and I see these, big Subarus driving through, and I'm looking, and this guy has this blue mask on, and I was like, oh God, something's not right. Like, you in the wrong area first off, so on and so forth. But we have kids out in this, they're running. So by the time I made it around the other corner, of course, here they all start lining up, and they're getting out their cars. They got guns, they got baseball bats. One guy had a sawed-off shotgun and a machete, and I'm like, are you serious? Well, at this point, we're ushering the kids inside, like, get into the building.
Well, like, here Sonya, comes you got those quarters, Sonya, right?
Right? I know. I was like, but here comes my coach. They're already calling people. You hear the sirens going off. And my coach, he worked at the sheriff's department. So he comes running out. You can see him fully decked uniform. He just got off work, and they seen that same thing. But the fact that I seen that around a bunch of kids, they didn't care. The mentality wasn't there for it. So it was really sad to see. So I see that in my neck of woods. It's like, it's not a fair fight. These guys are out here playing football in the street barbecue, and you guys are going to roll up on them? Like, really, y'all? Like, come on, let's be civil. Like, but no, you see it everywhere.
We're expecting people to be civil that don't have common sense, really?
Yeah.
Oh, no, zero common sense. One of the saddest other things I seen when I lived in Denver, of course, you got Bloods and Crips in Denver. We started on the city bus downtown. That's more Crip territory. Montbello's more Bloods. So on the bus, they start, one crew's on front, one's on back, and they're starting off with a whoop and a rip and, back and forth each other, and they start fighting. Well, the bus has to pull over. This is a whole city bus. It's called the 15L. It runs down Colfax. Pulls over. These guys are throwing each other in between the seats. You name it. And you're just thinking to yourself, like, I'm sitting there. It's like 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, y'all ain't got nothing better.
Guys, like, dude, get off the bus and take care of this on your own time.
Well, that's what they wound up doing. The bus driver pulled over. They opened the doors, and they pulled each other off the bus. And, of course, cops are rolling up. They're out in a parking lot fighting. And you're like, dang. Like, where's the common sense at? There is none. None.
Also, it probably wasn't a good idea to get on the city bus to go get junior mint at CVS, right? Like,
I work security, and I would work night shifts and all kinds of stuff. So it was just like,
bus, and like, you'll see the craziest people that you don't even realize exist. Like, people talk to themselves, and I'm talking about in the afternoon, all times of day. If you drive through New Haven, like, the people waiting for the bus stops are the most, like, people you'll see on the Softway underbelly, just very unique. They have their own thing going on. But for two gangs to step on a bus, that's red flags everywhere, where it's almost like that recent situation where that guy was freaking out on the plane and everyone had to hold him down and zip tie. But here you got multiple gentlemen, and then here's you. What do you do in a situation like that? Do you sit quiet? Like, if our listeners right now, someday down the road are in this situation, what would you tell them they should do?
Don't engage. Unless they engage with you, don't engage. Like, I just sat back, at one point I was standing up on my seat because they're like right there on my seat just fighting. And I'm like, are you serious, you guys? I'm just looking at them like, you don't look like as stupid as you look if you've seen yourself in the mirror or somebody recorded you and you look back at it. Sorry, that is the page.
They need the China plate.
Yeah, like, don't engage in it. Like, it's pointless. One, you're gonna get in trouble. Two, the cops don't give zero on who did what, who swung first. Everybody's getting arrested, and then you're gonna have to go figure that out in court. It's your time, your money, your energy, everything. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Got people filming it, putting it on Instagram, Snapchat. It's like, come on here. But yeah, me and Steve were actually just talking about UFC 285. We got PFL on right now as well. But BYB has been blowing up, and we want to get into that. Steve, catch her up here with our discussion on Valentina, Alexa Grasso, John Jones, and Serial.
How surprising is that? Valentina was on that run for forever, which basically seemed like only one that could beat her was Amanda Nunes, and I think the thing that irritates me the most about this past weekend is everyone's like, "Oh, well, Valentina just wasn't herself," and basically kind of just discrediting what Alexa basically accomplished. But then when you go back and look at it, oh, she's been practicing that whole setup this entire fight camp. Tells you what she's one of the smartest fighters that you need to have in that weight class. She deserves to be a champion. No one needs to be questioning what Valentina looked like prior to any fight. She got lazy throwing one of the little back spinning side kicks. Got lazy resetting, and Alexa jumped all over her like a little spider monkey. And now we got ourselves a new UFC women's flyweight champion. What were your thoughts on what happened?
Bro, a spider monkey jacked up on Mountain Dew. That's what that
was. All it takes is one wrong move, I think, in any kind of fight. Any fight you're in. You have to be on your top tip, like, mentally, when you're in that ring or you're in the octagon or you're in a Triogon. Every move you make needs to be very calculated. You need to make sure that, you make the right moves. If you're not on your game and it'll show.
You bring
and
up
unfortunately it showed.
For people out there.
And you're talking about first evers, right? That we have our first ever Mexican champion. Do you not forget that she was this one over here was a part of a first ever? She was one of the first, remember when she fought
you talk about
Jamie Driver, she was one of the first female fights overseas.
Valentina?
From London. Yes.
No, our guest, you knucklehead.
Oh.
I mean, I know.
Yeah, London being Jamie Driver.
I did say, speaking of first.
Oh, Jamie Driver. You and Jamie Driver. Oh,
remember we had Jamie on before that. We were already talking about this.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. If I was on a bus and I saw Sonya and Jamie Driver, I would jump out. I'd be more scared of them. If you see Sonya and Jamie Driver pull up in the Nirvana button-ups, get out quick. Nothing is going to get in the way. Yeah, nothing's getting in their way to get those junior mints. You know what I mean? I need those junior mints. Yes. It's wild. Go back to what you just said for the audio listeners, because that's a really big deal.
They were the first female bare knuckle contestant that they had over in London.
What was that like, Sonya? Wow. Congratulations, because BKFC, Steve, would you agree?
BYB, that was BYB.
BYB, one day in the next couple of years is going to be a top contender for bare knuckle, right? It's going to be.
Oh, yeah, we already are. BYB is taking over.
I think they need to put their personal stuff aside and put together a freaking tournament between both organizations.
I agree. We need to do a competitive BKB versus BYB. Well, BYB, we are taking over. I'm just
you got
putting that out there. We just
Paulie.
merged.
You got
it's
Gold.
funny because after what was it, Belcher's win, there were some people online upset about how Alan and Dave were interacting with one of each other, and my phone, because since I'm pumping out BYB as much as I can, putting data in my phone, change Dana to data. So I'm sitting there, don't you see Dana hugging on his champions all like crazy like that? So who of course sees my message but Mike? And Mike's sitting there like going back and forth. Of course, has a comment. I'm like, of course, Mike, you'd be the one person to see my freaking typo, right?
Typos is Steve, bro. Oh,
like, yo, my typo absolutely been killing me lately.
No, but here's I don't mean to get off topic really quick with the whole typo thing. Guys, do you understand what he's saying? Then why are you commenting that there wasn't a comma or like this? I could, you know what I mean? Like it's just absolutely crazy that people are out there with a little red pen judging your tweets, bro. No one freaking cares if you spell this.
I'm writing out like an essay to the Lost Children's Foundation. My English does not need to be ready available for
but you're saying
Anthony,
yeah, but you're saying
professor over here that needs to be critiquing everyone that comments on anything on social media.
I get it all the time, bro, and it's ridiculous. And my phone doesn't help me at all, even though I paid so much money for it. But
it doesn't matter if you voice text; it doesn't matter what. There's predictive text, so sometimes if instead of like you're trying to type a bunch of stuff out, you're trying to like make the
check this out.
Go faster.
I tried messaging.
You'll go and put something in, and it'll correct it anyways.
Yeah,
because it's something that you.
I'm trying to spell fuck, not duck. I'm spelling fuck, not duck. But you brought something great up. The tournament idea. The tournament idea. Sonya.
No, that needs to happen. It needs to happen. I think both promotions have kind of built enough over like the last handful of years. I think within the next 2 years, somebody should pull Mike and Dave off to the side and be like, yo, let's come up with a revenue sharing platform for this. And like how they do
the fans what they want.
maybe do something kind of like what the UFC does with International Fight Week, like pick a month.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we've done it before.
Right, we'll hold this event will be BYB's and we'll hold it in July.
That would be great
for it. And winners from that or losers from that will get moved over to the BKFC event that is part of that tournament that will be held in September, and then you'll hold the final one.
Steve, you're planning the whole thing out here.
You
got plans.
Yeah. What time do I got to catch the bus too?
He's not this one through.
And then what you do with that last event is you do it between 2 different days where you let both promotions get their hands on it.
So if that's the idea, Sonya, right? If Steve's idea,
I mean, most of the time that's what it all boils down to, right?
Yeah, that's what we want to
do. Down to who's promoting it and who's getting paid for it. That's
and it'll be conjoined too. It would be perfect.
So
Sonya,
split it up where both promotions both get get to promote the X amount.
Please,
of
we get it
3 times. But go ahead.
It's got a whole business plan on it.
I know, Steve. Yeah, we need to get Steve on the books over here because Steve actually is good with all of that. Here's the thing, Sonya. With that idea thrown out there, say this is next year for July, right? What do you have to do to become a top contender for BYB to seal your stop to fill the spot for that top place against a top girl from BKFC? What do you have to do? How many fights do you got to get in? Who do you want to fight over at BKFC? But first, what do you got to do? What's your plan if Steve's coming to you with this email and saying, here, we got this, that, and other thing. Yeah. And by the way, we got Junior Mints here too. We won't make you take the bug. What do you got to do? How many?
Going forward with everything, like BKB needs to build a female platform. They ain't got nothing. They've tried. That was originally BKB, or was it BKFC? I'm sorry. They originally tried. I originally was going to got contracted with them way back when I was first going to do bare knuckle. Well, then they came back with, they didn't want to pay females very well, one, and then two, they didn't have a very good platform. When they came to Alabama, they tried to put it on, and the offer I got to put on the fight, and then the offer I got on contract, called back and said, y'all are forgetting a zero on here. They got with Nate, they got with everybody, and they're like, well, we ain't gonna pay for this. We're pretty much, we ain't got no real females in that weight division. They've got little girls. They got, like, not little girls, I wouldn't say, but like they're a lot lighter than us. So yeah, they're tiny.
Right. You got little girls. You got that right.
So they need BKFC needs to build their female platform first, which they can't do. They've already kind of ruined that with a lot of females when they threw out those offers when they originally tried to do this. BYB has been building, and we have females. Not only that, BYB and BKB just merged. So we've got Europe. We've got everybody.
That is when she's saying that BYB and BKB just merged. BKB is the UK promotion they have overseas. This is something that Mike has been working on well over a year now to make happen. Not only is it happening, and you're going to get all these fighters to come together, but also you're going to see a lot more BYB events, not just in the Miami area, not just in this area. What BKFC?
We're international now. We are international. We have done it. Not only that, I love these international fighters. Like, we had a blast out in London, getting to know them, just people from all over the world. It is phenomenal.
As Brittian Hart would say, y'all will come for the boobies, but we want the real fights. And I'm here for the real fights. Quoted Brittian Hart.
We were talking a little bit about, and I don't want to slam BKFC all over the thing here.
It's funny because we had Jamie Hinshaw on last week, and we literally spent a good 10 minutes making fun of
my mom's
Starling.
My mom's
the one who promoted herself into a title fight that she had no business in the first place.
Yeah, no. See, that's just
goes and welcomes Beck back into the BKFC, then goes and wins that's their inaugural strawweight belt, who now Beck hasn't won in BKFC, and I don't know how long, but
he's getting fired up. He's getting fired up
for the belt. I don't get it.
They are the fake wrestling version of bare knuckle. That's what we were comparing them to. The stuff you guys see.
I got a lot of love for Dave and some of the things that he is doing.
Whoa! She just called them.
When it comes to the women's division, he does not have the right people in place, or the people who are in place do not know how to promote it. It is not hard to promote female combat sports. I don't understand this.
Sonya, you said what?
They are the fake wrestling of bare knuckle. Like, the stuff that they stage and the fake drama and stuff, it's not real.
A lot of it's real. Like the stuff between Richmond and Hunt, that stuff was real. But I know what you're talking about, the other stuff.
The other stuff. Well, the stuff I've seen some of the females do is just over the top. Like, I'm sorry. There's no woman in her right mind that says, oh, I just want to fight and I'm going to go, flash the crowd. Like, I don't know about that. There's a lot more that goes to that, fighting over title belts, things like that. It's like, no.
Now, memory serves me. Tia actually is a content producer, and her sponsor is a pretty fairly known, Playboy model. What was it? Kendra Lust? Kendra Lust is her sponsor.
There's a lot that goes into play. Like I said, there's a lot of staging that goes with it. It's not natural. It's not normal. It's not like they put a lot of thought into what they do. And it's like I said, it's like the fake wrestling of bare knuckle. A lot of stuff's fake. I'm sorry. Like, either there's conflict or there's not between the fighters. And if there's conflict, let it roll. Let them explain. Let them show it. And that's what I love about BYB. BYB lets us be who we want to be. If I want to be the higher person in the fight, then I'm going to be professional. I'm not going to sit and slander anybody. But if I've seen time and time again, I love seeing it, at the face-offs, and they'll sit at the table and they will talk back and forth and they let it roll because you know what? It's not staged. It's real. That is people's real feelings towards each other.
Also, on top of that, we already had her opponent on there, Jamie Driver, who kind of fits into what the BKFC mold will be for their female athlete, but she's an actual fighter.
She's not fake though.
Plays this image.
Right. She's not fake. She'll tell you how she feels, and whether you like it or not, Jamie's gonna be Jamie. And we fought and everything, but I like Jamie. Like I said, she's gonna be who she wants to be. And
I got love for Jamie because she used to train over at Henzo.
Whoa. Steve, this is the girl she was talking about last week that they got into a fight with her at the gym. Remember?
No, it's not. Why are you playing games now, dude?
So I just wanted to say, you're saying that the BYB girls are
not
better,
all of them.
are the real fighters.
You got to stand this corrected. It's the mold that they're kind of putting them in. This is what they're trying to get them to be. Not all these girls are that way. Like
BYB,
I just had her. We just had Jamie Henshaw on. She's only had 2 BKFC fights, but she's not one of these ones that's putting out this kind of fake persona, just saying this is who I am.
We're gonna get her a Combat Deviant face tattoo.
I'm sitting there talking about Jamie Henshaw, but we had Jamie Driver on, who is her former opponent, who, like I said, kind of fits into what that BKFC mold is, except her personality isn't built that way. So you can't mold her into somebody who you want to be. What she's saying is what BKFC's doing is they're getting these girls in there, and they're just kind of allowing them to be molded into these type of people who
TikTok fighters, right?
And not just
TikTok
that they're not
and OnlyFans,
but what they're trying to sell us and who they are altogether. We all know most of them are actually pretty.
Steve's on OnlyFans. Did you know that, Sonya?
They're all actually pretty good fighters. The thing is they're not. They don't have a persona. You can't sell somebody who doesn't have a persona or a personality to try to have one.
Like Pink Van Zant, she tried choking out Brittian Hart at that fight, and you knew that was set up. That was so fake.
Yeah, nobody's gonna lose their fight license over something stupid.
Paige been going on a downward slant since before she left the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
Paige Van Zant has been openly trying to do wrestling for the better part of the last 3 years. You've known the BKFC wasn't a fix. It was a paycheck for her.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing, and I hate to say this, is the same thing why they brought in Rachel Ostovich. She was a pretty face. They were in her backyard. Hey, Rachel, you want to take a fight? Sure. How much you pay me? Oh, hell yeah, I'm taking that fight. But as you said, Sonya, when the time turned over to you, you were missing the zeros that were on their checks.
Exactly.
That's a big deal. That's a huge deal because I remember about 4 years ago interviewing Misfit, way before she was champion, saying that BKFC would send people over to spy on her and all this crazy stuff because she wanted more respect. She wanted to show everybody, yeah, they're bringing in all these UFC vets, right? But I'm the real fighter here, and you guys are going to see it. And she trains with Dewey, and she puts in the work over the years. But then Misfit, it's kind of lost in the smoke as well. Have you seen?
It sucks that she's there because she'd probably do so much better with BYB.
I agree.
It's not anything like you are where you are. You have your loyalties where you have your loyalties. It's funny because her fiance is their matchmaker, but hey, what do I know? But if you look at the way it's structured, both personality wise, everything, it's set up more for who Christina is.
Hey, Sonya, your trainer, advisor, CJ checking in. And here's your bus driver saying Sonya always holds it down. Yeah.
Yeah.
The city bus driver. Yeah, BYB all day for the audio listeners from Shay tweeted that. So Shay tweeted that.
Love it.
Here's the other
Well, I
thing.
mean,
What
it
if,
has to be, man. Like, look, I love what BKFC has done. I guess for the national limelight right now.
yeah.
I mean, and what they're doing to help get it sanctioned. But when you look at what the overall product is, they're just cherry picking guys or girls from some of these larger promotions and putting them in, I guess, matchups that favor them. That's not how you promote fights.
That's a dangerous fight. If you're going to set up a fight, that's why I was, anytime it's, you see matchmakers and how they match us and stuff, you don't match somebody that's not as skilled to go in there and get injured. That's not the idea behind setting up a fight. A fight is, one, you have to please the crowd. The crowd wants to see a good fight. They want to see this last. They want to see these people throw down. They don't want to sit there and see a knockout in the first 15 seconds and they waste their money on tickets. They want to see a brawl. That is what we're here for. We are here to brawl. We're here to throw some fists. We're here to get tore up, and when you have an uneven match like that, it's sad. It does the sport no good.
I mean, it's something that you're going to have to deal with as bare knuckle, as a sport as a whole continues.
I think we lost his mic.
No, I keep getting muted. You guys also have a great crew. For people who haven't been watching BYB, you guys have Paulie Malignaggi and Gold.
Yes.
Like, come on. It makes you feel right at home.
Oh, yeah. No, he's a very knowledgeable commentator. I love hearing his input on stuff, especially, before fights and then after, and you get to see, it's amazing. We've got a great platform for people, for building the BYB. It's been an amazing experience just being part of it.
But there's one thing missing, Steve, right? What's the big fight that needs to be made here in 2023 for BYB? What do you guys do?
I mean, I hate to even say this, like, just because I think, unfortunately, that Dada and Mike are gonna have to knuckle up and get one of these guys from one of these other promotions to get one of these big fights, quote unquote, to get more people to pay attention. As much as real fighters, real promoters like the homegrown value of kind of building things up a certain way, you're always going to need that free agent to kind of have the pizzazz, I guess we'll call it,
And Sonya, who is that? Like, what could they do? Because the only thing in my mind they could do is what Steve
tell Dada to go call Francis Ngannou and shake the whole world up.
Can't afford it though.
How do you know that?
So they have big plans for 2023. I'm not going to let any cats out the bag because
she is though. We've
got some big things coming. So like our Dubai fight, again, first females fighting over in Dubai. So we're hitting that marker already. But this Dubai fight, like, it's huge. It's huge. And then we've got the Orange County right after. The OC fights, I don't know if you've ever been to like the ones that Roy puts on just for boxing. I think there was a little bit of MMA fights at the one that I was involved in. But Roy puts on some good shows there. So to have the BYB there at the hangar putting on shows, oh my gosh. So no, it's going above and beyond this. 2023 is huge, especially because, like I said, we have BKB, and we're pulling these guys over here to the States. So there's some big up and coming fights coming up here. I think they're in the right direction as far as getting well known. Just because everything that they do, it's very professional. Always welcome back kind of thing. Especially Alabama.
Go back to Tucson, Alabama.
Yeah, BKFC, when they came here, they didn't leave a very good taste in our mouths here. They kind of.
We want to hear about that. That's what listeners want to hear. What do you mean?
So I'm just going to say it straight up. This is exactly what their plan was when they came to Alabama, was that they were going to try to recoup some of their money. put on the cheapest fight that they could, and they left a bad taste in a lot of gyms here. Well, mind you, in Alabama, we're kind of small. Everybody talks. Everybody knows everybody's business here in Alabama. So when you come into a state like that and you do the things that you did, you didn't leave a very good taste in anyone's mouth. So for that part of it, I know when we decide to have BYB here, it's going to be huge just because, one, I represent Alabama when I fight. Roll Tide. So with that being said, I have been treated nothing but amazing through BYB, and then just everything that's been involved with them. It's just been, and I get looked up to by a lot of fighters, and I'm part of a lot of gyms and a lot of people and a lot of community things, and then here at work as well. So a lot of that it gets seen. And, if you're putting out good words and, very positive, and they love seeing the stuff that you're doing and what they've done for you, that changes the whole dynamics of bare knuckle and when they first came here. Because Alabama is a huge state just for, we're known for tough man competitions. We held some of the biggest tough man competitions, and these aren't sanctioned, some of them. They were backyard tough man competitions.
I love watching those.
So they love bare knuckle.
MMA stuff.
Exactly. So they love bare knuckle out here. That is homegrown fighting right there. Some of them just do it.
Do to leave the bad taste? They, like you said, they leave bad taste in the gyms.
I'll say it so she doesn't have to say it in so words. Promoter politics is I guess the proper way to call it. When you're sitting there, we're gonna come here, and if you buy X amount of tickets, we're gonna bring this many guys in from your gym, and this, that, and the third, and they'll make all these promises, and when they come here, they don't give you nothing but a bad taste in your mouth.
Yep, and then you have to
false promises. A lot of false promises came out of it.
I've seen that so many times.
She don't have to say without saying it. It happens. Sometimes it's not something that they meant to do, but it wound up coming to pass anyways. You wind up having to cut corners because you spent too much money at the event prior or whatever, or you just signed somebody that doesn't give you the right to take it out on that state, that next card, whatever. You can't run business that way.
I've seen
promoter in that way. So, like I said, this sport is still so young. We're still within the first 10 years.
But we're healthy right now.
We're in its infancy stage. There's going to be learning curves. We're all learning all different aspects of it. We still haven't even gotten to a proper ranking system for these athletes. So we're still in a lot of the beginning stages of this sport. I am happy to see it continue to grow. But as Sonya's saying, there's still some of the good old politics that go on in combat sports need to end.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
100% agree. Sonya, you bring up a good point. This is one of the last things I want to say here. Steve, you brought up a great point. I've been at events, and I won't say the organization, even though I said it 3 times, where they'll have local fighters sell tickets, right? You got to sell this many tickets.
Yeah, I hate that.
The family shows up.
Is by the local hero or not hero.
So you sell all these tickets, right? And then the main event happens. You're like, where's my cousin at? They put on fights after the main event, and people have to stay and watch it because they don't want people to leave before the main event. They post some pretty crazy stuff.
I know what you're talking about. I know what Eddie's referring to here. He's referring to the king underdog who's on the undercard, who sells 250 seats.
Yep.
But the main event guy only sold 50, so that when it comes down time for it to be on TV, it only looks like there's 10 people in the crowd.
Exactly.
Those happen very, very often at it because everyone's following and support system is different. Everyone's, popularity is different, etc. So these things happen, especially on your regional scene or your closer, tight-knit promotional shows.
Oh, yeah. Hometown fights. That's, your hometown guy is going to get the most tickets, and he may not be your main event.
I've seen that. I remember, was just talking to what we had Josh Watson on, the guy that stopped Greg Hardy, and he was like, I don't even live in X, Y, and Z place, but that's my hometown. He's like, I can guarantee you right now, if any promoter told me that they would give me my last boxing fight, MMA event, whatever, in the Mohegan Sun in that place, he's like, I will sell out the entire place in 25 minutes.
Oh yeah, you'll be surprised. Even if it's not your hometown, it's, you may have grown up there or you have family there, things like that. Heck, I just went to New Mexico and fought.
He has moved over like the last 10 years, so he hasn't been back there in a while. But it's one of those things, like when you're getting ready to get to the last, I guess, the last stages of your career, and you want to end things the way you want to end things, you get things put together the right way. And I'm interested to see what the next chapter is for him, but that's what I'm talking about. You have situations where it might not be the best guy, the best fighter, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have the biggest following in the room.
Exactly. Well, heck, I just went and fought not last weekend, the weekend before. What was that? The February 24th. I fought in New Mexico. We did a rematch with Jordana on the Tapia fight card, and I remember the first time that we fought, I walked into the room for weigh-ins and I got a few boos and it was pretty silent. Well, then coming back the second time, I have family there. I grew up a little bit around that area. My dad used to take us to New Mexico all the time to visit people. So it was really cool this time to actually be able to set it up to where I had fans in the crowd. So it was, I didn't walk out to silence this time. I actually had people in the crowd and was like, wow, you're not even really from here, but it's how you build, and then who you've got for family too, and then friends. I got a lot of people that moved there too, so it was awesome to see that, fighting out in New Mexico, and actually, the first fight versus the second one, it was amazing.
So now at this point in your career, what does 2023 look like for you? What can we expect in 2023 out of Sonya?
Oh, I'm coming for it all. I've already let everyone know. We're booking fights. We're getting this going. It's
flipping buses and shit.
Heck yeah, you kidding? We're working. I don't work a 9 to 5. I work 12-hour shifts. So, I'm a hard worker anyways, and we rotate days to nights. But between that, we're still training. We're still working. We're still doing everything we need to do to prepare for fights.
Hey, does your work know what you do? Do they know you're going around city to city over the seas beating girls up and
Oh yeah, most definitely. They love it. I got a lot of coworkers.
Kids out of the refrigerator and go, do something.
Heck yeah, no, they love it. Like I said, a lot of the guys I work with, they did a lot of the tough man competitions. So these guys are rough and tough anyways. I love seeing they mess with me a little bit. Hey, I'm gonna show you some dirty tricks, and I'm like, oh heck, that's dirty. You can't do that.
That's dirty.
That's dirty. You can't be doing that. Oh man, we have all kinds of fun with it, but I love it. My job loves it. My coworkers love it.
To your fights? Do they come out to your fights?
Oh yeah. Especially, I got 2 of them. I got to do 2 here in Alabama for boxing. Which were really cool because we had tables reserved. I had coworkers there. It was awesome. They walked out with our Alabama flag and, playing Sweet Home Alabama. So it was great. We have a blast with it. These, like I said, the guys I work with, they're tough. They're rough and tough guys. They've done tough man competitions. Some of them will bench press 400 or 500 pounds up in the gym. These guys are big. They do maintenance.
When you go to a show and cover it and you're sitting there on press row and a fighter walks out and you look over and you see these big burly dudes rooting for something, you go, this is the fight to watch, right? This is the fight to watch.
Yes, so most definitely.
What's 2023 for Sonya? What can we expect here?
Oh, yeah, I'm coming for it all. I'm looking for title belts. I'm looking for it all. Like I said, I'm gonna book as many fights as I can. So it's going to be huge. 2023 is mine. This is my year. This is everything for me. I'm coming off of 2 wins in boxing. I took out Chevelle Hellback, in December. And then I just took out, a rematch again. So, that's just boxing. Bare knuckle, oh no, we're coming for it. I want title belts. We're looking at setting up some title matches, international fights. I've got things in line, booked, ready to go. One fight at a time, of course, because, that's contracting works. But, it's going to be huge. 2023 is my year. This is my stuff.
My last question for you. When you do go in there and have this tournament with BKFC, you're going to be wearing the Combat Deviant logo on those shorts, right?
I don't think. No. See, I have my own uniforms. I got normal, just me. This is who I am.
How about this? When that happens, we could auction off your uniform to, what do you call it? Donation? Not a donation. What do you call it?
Sponsors?
Donation.
When you sell a uniform to help others, what is that called?
It's a charity.
A charity. Yeah. The Combat Deviant charity. We need some help.
No, Eddie, no.
No, but do you actually have a fight lined up, or when are we going to get back in there?
For bare knuckle or for boxing?
For both.
For both. I'm going to Dubai. I'll be in Dubai, and then I'd love to fight again in my home state, Colorado.
Look at that smile on your face. I'm going to Dubai, and an instant smile.
I'm excited about Dubai. We do have some things in the works. Nothing. It's you send out contracts and then you expect them to get them back, and apparently a piece of paper is pretty intimidating to get back. So we're still waiting on some contracts, but we've got some things lined up. I know I'm looking at possibly going to Canada. So that will be a fun match if we can make that one happen. And that'll be a boxing one. If we can't make it happen there, we're definitely going back to UK in a boxing match. So that is part of 2023 as well. I've got a few offers out there to go and have some fun. And that's why I call it having fun, because it is. You got to enjoy it. If you ain't got the heart for it, then you shouldn't even be in the sport.
Sonya, that was so perfect. The way you just ended that right there, and your energy all together. This is why we do these interviews, to show the fans out there that you guys are fucking awesome. You guys aren't just going in there, you don't say nothing and just beat people up. You have such a great personality. You're so relatable to a wide range of people. And that's what I love about doing this. Steve, you know what we like to do at this point in the interview?
Absolutely. It's time to hand that proverbial microphone over to you, Sonya. And you would like to thank training partners, teammates, shoot out those social media sites, any sponsors you may have, anything like that. The floor is yours, my friend.
Most definitely. I want to thank my sponsor, Callie. She is amazing. She owns DC Fiber Construction. So she has got my back. She's my ride or die for my sponsor. I don't take on sponsors unless, I have a personal, they've got to show that they're worthy, I guess, or I guess not even worthy. She's a hardworking female.
To ride the bus with you. If they can hang on the bus, then they're good, right?
Exactly. And Callie fits that for like, oh my gosh, this lady like above and beyond.
Pay me in rolls of quarters. I want to get paid in rolls of quarters.
There you go. Heck yeah. Yeah. So I love her to death for everything she's done for me. CJ, I love working with CJ Burton. He goes with me everywhere. That's my ride or die coach, cornerman. Like, I call him up last minute. Hey, we doing this fight, and he's like, "Let's go." So I appreciate everything he does for me. I appreciate Ashley for letting him go with me everywhere. Because I know how it is to leave your loved one for a while. So I appreciate that. And then my kids. I'm there to be a role model, and I love my daughter to death. She's gonna be my fighter. I didn't want her to be, but she is. So I love you so much, Catalina. You're a tough little cookie yourself. And then my boys, they're my big sweethearts. They know how to fight, but they throw it. They're very mellow, which I love that they're very level-headed. So I love my kids. Thank you guys for putting up with me and allowing me to do what I got to do, and still be your mom. So my family, everyone in my family for letting me do everything that they helped me out with. And then, of course, all my gyms around here. We've got Wilmore Gym for allowing me to go train and be part of, 24 hours training, things like that. Wilmore's has always been there open, allowing me to get in there. They've got punching bags. Anytime, we tear one up, they put a new one up for me. So I appreciate Wilmore's for everything that they do for me as well. And of course, I got to give a shout out to my box fit program out in Gadsden. They're amazing. These ladies train their butt off, along with the guys. I love my guys there. They're great. And then Ultimate MMA, you guys are phenomenal. Keep up the hard work. You guys have an amazing gym going there here in Albertville. They've got fighters that come in, and then they work with me on the side too. So that, it's great. I love it. And I appreciate everything you guys do for me. I consider myself blessed to be in the position I am today because of all the people that have been involved in my life that have made this possible.
Oh, that was the sweetest freaking outro ever I've ever heard. But here's the one
That's
thing.
one of the longer ones we've actually had.
I got a lot of people to thank, but I'm truly blessed, and I couldn't ask for more. I really couldn't.
You gotta show it. And you got to show those people, because here's the thing. Before we let you go, the one thing that you brought up where I was like, damn, she's so right. I have a little sister. There's two brothers and a little sister, right? And she's more badass than either brother. I mean, girls are a handful.
I think we are.
You went, she's my little fighter. My boys are just, they're chilling. But my girl, she's a fighter. It was like, much respect to the girls out there in 2023 putting on. And thank you so much, Sonya, for showing them that women can put on. And not only that, you can do anything in the world, no matter what you want to do. As long as you focus and you stay good and you have a roll of quarters in your pocket, you'll be fine.
That's right. Most definitely.
Thank you so much, Sonya. We really hope for the best, and we wish you best of skill in your next fight. And we have to talk to you before that next fight. So
most definitely get me out in Dubai, and I'll do an interview with you guys out there, and we'll have a good time with it. And I appreciate you gentlemen for having me on here.
God
bless.
All right,
Sonya, appreciate the time. You have a good one. Catch up.
You as well. God bless. Thank you.
There we go, Steve. That was a great interview, man. A lot of great stories. The roll of quarters was just classic.
That one's not leaving for a while.
And you know what, man? I think that was one of the better interviews that we've had recently, because when a fighter has,
it's always the unexpected
energy,
ones that you always have the most fun with.
Yeah, they have the energy. They make it very easy for us to get through here, and you can tell that she's genuine. But if you saw her on the bus and there was a gang fight in back of you, you wouldn't know that she would go back there and whip all their asses. For real, man. With that being said, Steve, this was a great episode. We have an upcoming fight.
Yeah, two no shows, but it happens. We know how it goes in sports media, and these things happen from time to time. We'll get Tresean and Brittany rescheduled here at some point. I'm gonna already start working on.
Bro, the real fight.
Got a bunch of irons in the fire. We got our good friend Susan already hit me up asking me about these next few bare knuckle events as well. So
hey, the real fight going on right now, and Britain's the champ of, most likely, is SMFFC. Have you heard of that?
When
you send a text message.
Also that United Fight League that's signing up a bunch of guys too. They got Rampage involved. They got Frank Mir involved.
Arm wrestling. What do you mean? What is it?
Like the United Fight League or something?
United Fight League. For older fighters?
No, they have like Mir's doing color commentary and things of that nature. I know they had Rampage and a bunch of them other guys out there recently. Excuse me.
Man, the only thing I'm really looking forward to is this upcoming BKFC card with Mendez. We got Mike Perry, Luke Rockhold, man. Like this whole card coming up is absolutely crazy, and it's wild in 2023 to be talking more excitement in bare knuckle. So, Steve, we're doing a great job
You
over
think
here.
of another MVP victory.
Yeah, here I wanted to bring that up earlier. They had him early on that fight card. It wasn't the co-main event. It was like the start of the main card, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Why? Why would you have
Why?
a star like that?
He's not a superstar. He's never going to be a title holder.
Because of the Lima thing?
But he's never going to be a title holder. So why are you going to have him uphold the top end of the card?
Is it a mistake that he never came to the UFC? Now that he's getting opener of a Bellator fight
He
card.
wouldn't have been any better when and if he made it to the UFC anyways. Yeah, it's the United Fight League.
That's the thing that really bothers me.
Yeah,
MVP,
they got Tito Ortiz.
not doing commentary, I hope
They
not.
got
Yeah.
Rampage.
Doing what? Fighting?
They're involved in the promoting of it, that's for sure.
So it might be like a one championship type thing with like Misha Tate. I hope they're not. Like,
Delgado just signed. Nikolai Vertinkenov.
so the whole Habib Eagle FC thing
Brandon Lewis just signed.
over. Habib's thing is over. There's no news about that lately.
Khabib's what's over?
Eagle FC.
Oh
Right,
yeah.
it was big
Well,
for a couple weeks.
he said he's stepping away from all things combat sports moving forward.
Yeah,
So
doesn't
something must
make
have happened.
any sense. Doesn't make any sense.
Something must have happened where he's just like, the hell with all this.
Steve.
But meanwhile, he's sending out tweets to Gage afterwards telling him if he came to Dagestan and learned how to wrestle, he would have never got taken down. I'm like, oh, this.
Can we talk about this one thing before we end the show? And you brought it up here when you said for the pound for pound rankings in 2013, as I was bringing up John Jones 10 years later, Habib number one pound for pound rankings. People are saying he's the greatest of all time. I say, how could you say that?
He doesn't have the body of work. How can he be? I would put BJ Penn above him.
I would too. Totally put BJ Penn above him. And people would come back with the argument, Steve, of what? Well, he's undefeated. He's taking out this one, that one, and the other one.
He's undefeated, but he missed 5 years of his career due to injury and left because of it.
My biggest argument for this
He
whole
didn't
thing.
fight the best of the best when they were the best.
You just nailed it right there. He shouldn't have retired when he retired. It was a safe exit. It's what his father wanted to pursue Islam Makhachev. Now, Islam Makhachev moving forward, are we going to see him holding the title at the end of the year, Steve? Last thing we got to talk about. He's number 2 on the pound for pound list right now.
It's possible.
Islam Makhachev holds the title.
It is very, 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 very possible.
I'm going to say Charles Oliveira takes a fight, then comes in and beats Islam. That's the fight. That's the fight right there.
Oh, please, Charles, please.
Right? It's just, man.
I don't want to see these idiots on social media. That's all.
I'm excited again. I'm excited again for mixed martial arts, the narrative that's out there, the whole John Bones Jones thing that just went down. We needed that. We needed that in mixed martial arts, and we got it. I want a little money from it. Valentina losing. She comes back. Does she win or lose, Steve?
Wait, what?
Valentina versus Grasso 2. Does she win or lose?
So if they run it back, which they probably are. I hate that. When you have a clear cut, like there's no flukiness about it or anything like that.
It's a recent thing, too. Yeah. Recent thing that they're not. It's a recent thing that they're not running things back like that. But they are with Adesanya, which is coming up recent.
Okay, soon. That was a back and forth thing where it was a late round stoppage where the other guy was winning the fight.
Yeah.
That's a difference. That is a courtesy to the champion. right?
100%. Not
Now,
though. That spinning back kick. Ask Chris Weidman. The biggest regret of his life, man. With that being said, Steve, let's end it right here because
we're gonna have some fun stuff lined up for everyone next week. Hopefully, we'll get Tresean and or Miss Brittian Hart rescheduled ASAP. When we do, you guys will know. Other than that, guys, please make sure you're showing us love on all the platforms. Stay tuned this week. You might have a change in your regularly scheduling program for a new program.
Ooh.
Make sure you subscribe. You'll find out.
Steve, last thing here. Thank you so much for all the great points that you brought up tonight. The call of the Ultimate Fighter, Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler, International Fight Week, John Jones versus Stipe. That was the nail in the coffin. You hit it on the head. We'll see what happens here. I'm Evil Eddie. That's Steve. And this was Combat Deviants, episode number
25.
Wow, man. Episode number 25.
25. Go that face. Catch you later, guys.